All right, now we're on our best behavior. Welcome, everyone, to today's session on Canvas, communication in Canvas. Canvas has some marvelous communication tools built in, including a neat new one that we'll take a real brief look at today. It'll be brief because I don't know that much about it. We're just getting it set up. But it is available now, and we will talk about a little bit about Pronto. I'm Dave Gibberson, by the way, for those of you I may not have met before. I was the Senior Instructional Design Coordinator at Online Learning Pathways for 10 years until I retired about 3 years ago. Now I'm just a senior citizen living in northern Idaho with the ospreys that you can see behind me there at the top of the tree. And they've asked me to come back to help with this unprecedented situation we find ourselves in. And since we're all going to be teaching online, apparently, at least for the duration of fall semester, it behooves us to do our very best for our students. And these Zoom training sessions are designed to showcase various aspects of Canvas and Zoom and other technology tools that help us to do the best possible job for our students online. So I'll be sharing my screen much of the day today. Let me go ahead and do that. And I have you, before I do that, I have you all muted right now, or almost all of you muted right now. But you can unmute yourself using the unmute button in the lower left-hand corner of your Zoom menus. If you don't see those menus on your computer, just mouse over the screen and they'll pop up. If you're on a mobile device, a smartphone or a tablet, you can just tap the screen. You'll see the mute, unmute button in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. And feel free to do that at need. We should have plenty of time today. This is not one of those jam-packed sessions where I have to move at light speed and rely on the recording later for review. If you'll put your questions in the chat tool, I'll try to keep up with them as best I can. At the very least, at the end of the presentation, I will go back and I will answer everything that's in the chat tool and anything else that people ask. And I will stay with you as long as you have questions and you're able to stay online. So I won't leave today before every question has been answered, or even if the answer is, I don't know. But if that's an answer, I'll try to get back to you with the answer once I figure it out or find someone who does. All right, let's go ahead and share screen. Things don't change immediately. I have things set so that I can share my Zoom windows. So now let me find Canvas. Oops, that's the wrong Canvas. That's the free Canvas that my wife was using earlier with our granddaughter in London. Oh, that's interesting. I don't seem to have that up. Thought I did. We'll take care of that instantly. By the way, this is our new login page for Canvas. You've probably seen that by now. Probably wondered if you were in the right place or not. I did the first time I saw it, but it looks a lot better than it used to. Thanks to Trenton and Chris on that. And here we are in Canvas. I also have an outline for today. It's not much of an outline because it's a fairly simple presentation, but let me bring that up as well. There it is. Okay, so today we're going to look at the basic communication tools built into Canvas. And there's another one we're going to add in here. Pronto, which is now showing up in your Canvas courses. The presentation on that will be very brief because I can exhaust my knowledge of Pronto in about 5 minutes. But I can give you a rough idea of how to get started playing with it. There will be a full-blown Pronto demonstration this afternoon at 1 p.m. Done by people who do know Pronto, the people who write it, or the people at Pronto, the company. Mary Kingsley sent out a notice, I think, to all faculty with that information on there today. Please note it was a little unclear initially who was going to be giving that presentation. It's not going to be me. I'll be in there with the rest of you trying to learn more about Pronto. But the link to get to that presentation is in that email. It's just lower down. It's not my link that you use to get into this meeting today. Okay, so we'll talk about announcements, discussions, your messaging tool in Canvas, the inbox tool, a little bit about Pronto, and a little bit about Zoom, though I'm doing an introduction to Zoom next week. And if you're new to Zoom, I would very much encourage you to come and see that or watch one of the recordings. So let's go back to Canvas. And let's go in. I'm just going to go into a course here. This is a sandbox course I use for demonstrations by clicking on its tile. And the first communication tool we'll talk about in Canvas is the simplest, probably, the announcements tool. It should be in your course menu, unless you've hidden it. You will see it in any case. And announcements are like emails or messages, except that they don't go outside of Canvas. They're just messages that appear to everyone who's in the course. They can be viewed by clicking on the announcements button in the course menu for students. And you, of course, can also post announcements using the Add Announcement button in the upper right-hand corner, which students will not see. So to create an announcement is super simple. You just click on the Add Announcement. Oh, and that, excuse me, that may have been, some of you may not have seen what I was doing there, because I know that Zoom, of course, is probably giving you a little set of video thumbnails over on the right side of the screen with me and some of your colleagues in it. You can close that or minimize it by clicking on the dash in the black bar at the top of the video window, or you can move it around if my cursor vanishes up underneath it or whatever, but I will try to avoid that area of the screen as I'm screen sharing today here by shrinking my window a little bit that I'm sharing. But let me know if you can't see something that I'm talking about. As I move the cursor around and point at things, I want to make sure you can see that. You can also control that problem, which will pop up from time to time when you're a participant in a Zoom meeting and somebody is sharing their screen and they're sharing it full screen. At the top of your screen right now, you should see a little black button labeled View Options. And that's a menu. If you click on that button, you'll see some options that you have for controlling what you see when I'm sharing my screen. And there's a good option in that called side-by-side mode. And if you click that, it will move the video windows away from the screen share window so that you can see my full screen share without the video windows laying over top of it. It'll shrink my share a little bit, but I can compensate for that by just magnifying my screen a little bit for you. So that's a useful thing to know. It's a useful thing to explain to your students if you're going to be lecturing, as I think most of you probably will be, over Zoom, and you're sharing your screen with them. That gives them control over what they're seeing and allows them to not miss things that you're talking about. So here's that add announcement button I was talking about in the upper right hand corner of the announcement screen. You just click on that and you get something that looks a lot like an email send screen. At the top there's a title box that basically the same thing as a subject box in an email. It allows you to identify the subject of the announcement. I'll mention Pronto. Pronto is now available in Canvas! Exclamation point. You then have a full rich context editor box here that you can type into. You can embed videos, still images, YouTube videos, Canvas Studio videos. I can't wait to talk about Canvas Studio. We'll talk a little bit about that today too. That's something that just came available 2 days ago. Just wonderful. And it's a communication tool, so it's appropriate to mention it a little bit today. But anyway, you get this, sticking with announcements for the moment, you get this text box or rich media box that you can type stuff in and embed videos and all that usual stuff you can do wherever you see the rich content editor. So Pronto, a enhanced chat app is now available in Canvas for the STCCD. Check your global access menu, which is the gray bar on the left in every Canvas screen, for access. You don't have to sign up, make an account or anything like that. You've automatically got an account at Pronto by having an account in Canvas, because our Pronto is integrated with Canvas. More about that later. Anyway, there's an announcement. I could, if I wanted to, I could do something a little more funky. I could include a Pronto image here. I can embed an image. I can go, probably I need to have that image first. Come to think of it, I don't think I have that. So I could go to Google, search for images, search for Pronto, only Pronto. There's Pronto. There's the logo. So I can right click on that, save the image as. This is a little bit dodgy vis-a-vis copyright, but I don't think Pronto is going to complain if we advertise their service for them. My attitude on copyright, unfortunately, is, am I going to go to jail? Or am I going to get fined $35,000? If the answer is no, I have to cut that out of the recording, won't I? Let's see. We'll go to pictures, save this. I'm just going to call it Pronto logo. Save it. Okay, now I can go back to Canvas. I can go to my embed image tool. I can click the Canvas tab. I'll put this in my course files, which is the usual option, and I'll upload the file, the image file. I have to go to my pictures and find that. There it is, and open it. That will upload it to Canvas and put it into my announcement. I should put alt text in there, Pronto logo, in case a blind student or faculty member should see this and need to know what that, using a screen reader to read to tell them what's on that page, they'll need this to know that that's just the logo for the tool that we're using. And then update. And there's, so assignment or announcements can be media rich if you desire. I could have just as easily embedded a video in there. Once I've put everything I need into here, into the text box, I have the option, if I like, to attach a file as well, or one or more files to this announcement. So if you're distributing a handout to students that's especially urgent and you want to have them get it right away, you can attach the file or files that contain those handouts to an announcement, send it out, and then the students, if the students check announcements when they enter the course, they'll see that right away. There is another way you can make those announcements pop for them, and I'll show you that in a minute. You do have some options for announcements. You can delay posting, so if you want to make sure you don't forget to put up an announcement, you can create the announcement while you're thinking of it, and then delay posting allows you to set a date and time when you want to post it. You can, if you wish, make announcements like a mini Facebook or Twitter, and people can comment on it. You can even allow liking. You can tell from my tone of voice what I think of that, but that's up to you. And we won't worry about podcast. You can embed podcast feeds, but we won't go into that today. So we have an announcement. If I save that, it goes into my announcement list. And anybody who comes in and clicks on announcements will see it as the latest announcement. And they'll just see the title. And to access it, they just click on the title and the announcement will come up. So real simple. And an immediate, kind of immediate, urgent communication, the virtual equivalent of posting a note on the entry door to the classroom, so the students have to see it when they come in. In that vein, you can set your course up so that the last however many announcements you wish are displayed on your home page in the course. To do that, you can go to Settings in the course menu and go to Course Details and scroll down to the bottom and select More Options. And there's an option to show recent announcements on the course homepage. And you can set the number of recent announcements you want to appear. If I do that and update course details, if I've done that right, when I go home, I should see the 3 most recent announcements. Now that does take up some screen space at the top. Remember, I have magnified my screen, so it's not quite as bad as it looks. Let me bring that back down to 100%, but it does show at the top. So this makes announcements really pop for the students. This, by the way, will only work if you have an opening page, a home page set in Canvas. If you just have Canvas, Canvas course opening up to the modules tool, they won't see those announcements. So this only works if you have them an opening page set in Canvas. All right, I believe that's correct anyway. Okay, so any questions about announcements? Let me look at that.
Dave?
Yes.
I've been using Inbox like for my announcements, but it's not as rich.
Yep. That's an alternative, but with the Inbox, you don't have the rich content editor.
Yeah. But I was wondering, besides the rich content, is there any other advantage to using announcements over the Inbox?
Probably not. It's a little quicker for you to use. And there's at least some reasonable probability that if you use announcements, that your student, if you send or save an announcement in your course, your students will probably get a notification, an email notification from Canvas that an announcement has been posted in the course, and the textual part of the announcement, not any embedded media, but the text will be included in that email. That is governed, unfortunately, by the student's own notification preferences, which they can set their notification preferences in Canvas just like you can by going to the Account button in the Global Access menu and going to the Notifications link. And by default, some of these notifications are turned on.
Right.
And the conversation one, the conversation message, which is what Canvas refers, that's how Canvas refers to the inbox tool, is conversation tool. And if that is turned on for the student's email address, then they will get an email when you post an announcement. But you can't depend on that. They can turn that off. I believe it's generally turned on by default. So if they don't know anything about notification preferences, which is pretty likely, they'll get the email. But you just can't depend on it. And unlike Blackboard, the situation we had in Blackboard, you can't override their notification preferences with an announcement. In Blackboard, we had a little button in the announcement screen where we could say, send an email. And no matter what the student's notification preferences are, when I post an announcement, Canvas doesn't have that option. So you have to just depend on the students seeing the announcement when they come into the course, or hope that they haven't turned off that notification in their personal notification settings.
Are we able to see if the student checked an announcement?
Nope. Nope. No way to know. If you really want to know, I can see it because I have, as an administrator, I can go in and basically log in as that student without knowing their password. And then I can check their notification settings for you. So if it's something that's really critical, like you've got a student who's not responding, just let me know and I'll be happy to go and look and tell you.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet. Good question. Anybody else have a question about announcements? I see some questions about some other stuff in the chat tool here, and I will get to those. But I don't see it. Okay, see anything in the chat tool about announcements right now. So let's move on to our next communication tool, that we're going to talk about, which is maybe the most important one in the class. And it's not just a communication tool, it can be an assessment as well, and that's discussion forums or discussion topics in Canvas. That's something we definitely want to know about. Discussions can be accessed, any discussions, topics that you have in your course can be accessed from the discussions link in the course menu. You may or may not choose to share that with students, because you can also embed discussions in your modules, or you can link your discussions into your modules. Like right here, I've got a discussion in this module. That's what that little, the two little text balloons indicate, the little icon. This is a discussion. To see what a discussion forum looks like, we can just click on the link there, or I could access this through the discussions tool. And your discussions just show up in this list. And to access one, you just click on the name of it. By the way, don't worry about this doojazz here. All sections, that generates some confusion in Canvas sometimes. The concept of sections within Canvas, we don't use that functionality. So you can ignore any references to sections within the Canvas interface. That functionality allows you to subdivide your students into separate virtual sections within a single course shell. But the way we have to integrate Canvas with PeopleSoft, that doesn't work well for us. So each course section in PeopleSoft has a one complete course shell in Canvas automatically. Those are created automatically for all course sections of the district. So we don't really use that virtual section functionality within Canvas. So just kind of ignore that. What does a discussion forum look like? Well, I should probably pick a different one, come to think of it, to show you that. I've got one that's got some discussion in it. This one, I have 8 messages in it. I can see I've read all of them. It is published, and I'm subscribed to it. We'll talk about what that means. And I can enter it just by clicking on the name of it. And this was a mock discussion in this demonstration course where I asked the students to post 3 ideas for instructional applications of the Camtasia tool, and asked them to reply to their both to me and to their peers. You can require that, of course, and you can grade them on it. So a discussion forum is basically a bulletin board, a virtual bulletin board. Imagine a bulletin board hanging in the wall, a cork board. Student comes along, you have an announcement or some instructions at the top, like these. And a student can come along and post a sticky note on the board, or tack something up there with 3 instructional applications of Camtasia. Everybody who walks by can read that. And that's the way discussion topics work in Canvas. Everybody enrolled in your course can go into this discussion and read all the posts, yours and everyone else's in the course, all the students as well. So it's a public, well, semi-public communication forum. Only the people enrolled in the course can see it. But within the course, everybody can see everything that's in the discussion forum. It's designed that way, meant to be that way. so multiple students can come by and post on this bulletin board. And within, and once they do that, they can also reply to each other's discussions. Oh, and of course they do that by clicking on this reply button here at the top of the discussion forum. Right underneath the prompt is a reply button. That's a little confusing. If you click that, you get a rich content editor box. So you can post a message here. But since you have the full rich content editor, you can also post videos. You can post still images, YouTube videos, Camtasia Studio videos. You can record a little video with that button. If I get the right webcam selected here, we can do that. Check, 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 check. It can hear me. That's what this blue bar tells me. So I can just record a little video here. Hi, everybody. How you doing? How's it going this week? Hope everybody's well and having a good time. Click finish. You can preview the video. Hi, everybody. How you doing? How's it going this week? Hope everybody's well and having a good. So it recorded, and then I can save it, and it'll go right here into the post. I don't see it right now as I'll see it once I save this post, but that's where it's going to be. So you can use discussion topics for all sorts of things that you want to share within the course. You can share videos, you can share files, you can attach files to a discussion, multiple files to a discussion post. So it's much more than just an asynchronous chat tool, which is the basic nature of it. You can share all sorts of stuff through discussions as well. So it's a very useful tool. Like I know faculty who in the graphics arts area who have students share their work with one another this way so that they can see what everybody else is doing. So it's an exceptionally useful tool in that regard. Below this, and in order to actually put this message into the discussion topic, I have to remember to hit post reply. That's the #1 crash landing in discussion topics. And the newest post goes to the bottom of the list, and everybody can see it. Here, not only can you reply to this initial prompt up here, but you can also reply to anyone else's message. And that's what's happened here. Test student 2 replied to the prompt, and then test student 3 came along and read that prompt and had a question. How long can your PowerPoint lectures be? And then the test 2 student came back and saw that reply and then replied to the reply, as long as you can retain your students' interest. In other words, there's no time limit on it. This constitutes what's called a thread in a discussion. Each of these posts is related to the original post here and to the prompt, through that to the prompt up here. So this is a discussion thread. And this is how you can make asynchronous, because all of this is asynchronous. People don't have to be online at the same time. Test 2 student posted, and then sometime later, test 3 student came along and saw it, read it, and replied to it. So you don't have, it's not a synchronous real-time tool like Zoom or Pronto. It is a tool that that allows people to participate in a class discussion asynchronously without being online at the same time. And it's one of the most basic and one of the most important features in any learning management system like Canvas or Blackboard or whatever. They all have this kind of capability because it's this, as much as anything else, that distinguishes an online course from a correspondence course. And as you probably know, correspondence courses are a big no-no. We can't offer them at the district because they're not eligible for federal financial aid. And they're prohibited by a variety of state or district policies and state regulation and so on. So if you've got a discussion, if you've got active discussion topics in your course, it's not a correspondence course right away. That's the primary distinguishing thing. There are other factors as well, of course, but this is the primary. So anyone coming in later can scroll through, read all the posts. They can even click this unread button here and search for those that they haven't read so far. So to save them time scrolling through. You can also search discussion posts for a particular author. And there are all the posts by that particular student. You can make this display more compact by collapsing them so that you just see a minimal view of each post, or you can re-expand them. And you can even show deleted replies, but that's not really an issue because we generally recommend you do not allow students to post to your discussion forums and then delete them. There are obvious possibilities for abuse in that case. Someone posting something nasty and leaving it up there for half an hour and then deleting it before you see it, and there's no record of it. So don't want to do that. Let's see, what else do we need to look at here? Subscription, if you're subscribed to a discussion post, you get a notification every time somebody posts to the forum. You can turn that off or on as you like. And students have the same capability. I don't recommend doing that for at a discussion that's quite active, where there are many posts a day, because you'll be getting an email every 5 minutes. But if it's a discussion post, or if it's a discussion topic that's not used that often, but that when it's used, you really want to know that somebody's posted a message in there, you can leave that subscription button turned on. A classic example of that sort of situation would be a question and answer discussion. I have one of those in this course. We go back to the list of discussions. Having a question and answer forum can save you a lot of time. You may have 10 students messaging you, emailing you with a question, with a particular question, the same question. You may have to answer it 10 times. If you use the Q&A form and tell the students, okay, if it's not personal, like, I just got diagnosed with COVID or something, and, I'm going to be out of class for a while. If it's not something, and what do I do? If it's not something personal, you can encourage them to put their questions in the Q&A form. And that way, especially if you're subscribed to this forum, you get a notification that the student has asked a question. You can go into the forum and you can answer that question, and you only have to answer that question once. The next time you get a message from a student asking that same question, you can just refer them to the Q&A form. Not only that, but often enough, before you get in and answer the the question, another student may have answered it. May have even answered it right. So that can save you a lot of time too. Email or messaging can run your life in online courses. You can just spend hours each day responding to student messages. If you use a screencasting question and answer form like this, you can at least cut down on some of that. Okay. You can have as many discussion topics in your course as you like. You might have one in every module in your course, for every section of your course, because it's a great way to promote class discussion and learning and sharing. The discussions are displayed in this lower area of the discussion topic screen in the order of activity. That is, the one that's been posted to most frequently and most recently will appear at the top, and other less active forums will be listed below. You can't control the activity or the order of the discussions listed here. You can, however, pin particularly critical discussions to the top of the screen. You can do that by going to the context menu for a particular discussion, clicking on that, and you can pin that to the top of the screen. And once you do that, you can control the order in which they're displayed. I know people who pin all their discussions here, and then they have complete control over the order that the discussions are displayed in. Or you can always unpin as well. We get that question a lot. You can create as many discussions as you like right here by clicking on Add Discussion. Or you could create discussions from within a module by just clicking the Add Item to Module button. I did that a little quick, the plus sign at the top of the module, and you can create a new discussion that way. And that automatically puts a link to the discussion in the module. Or you can just go to the Discussions tool there it is. I don't know why I'm having trouble finding that. Not enough coffee this morning. And you can make a discussion topic from here as well, and then manually link it into the module later. Up to you. When you create a discussion, of course, you give it a name. You enter a prompt that tells your students what this is about. You have options that you can choose. You almost certainly want to check Allow Threaded Replies. That allows those threads to be displayed that way so that you can, it's much easier to follow a discussion in a discussion topic if the posts are displayed threaded and not just as a list as they come in the order that they came in. That's almost impossible. I don't know exactly why you would ever turn that off. Another quite commonly used option is to require users to make their initial posts before they can see all of the other posts that have been put into the topic. This prevents people from basically copying other people's posts, initial replies, and maybe copying and pasting and then just changing a word here and there and then, you know, using someone else's work. That may or may not be necessary. Don't worry about podcast feeds. If you want to award a grade for the topic discussion, you will select that option. This is one of the 3 types of assessments you have available in Canvas, so it's often used that way. And you can allow liking of posts. Turn it into Facebook. Turn your discussion topic into a Facebook wall. That's up to you. You can create discussions for student groups if you like. So you'd use that if you were setting this up for a subdivision of your student enrollment within the course. I'm not going to go into that in detail. We do a groups seminar, student groups in Canvas seminar, where we cover that in more detail. If you're grading, you'll have to provide the number of possible points that you're going to award for that. You can require peer reviews where students have to comment on each other's work in the discussion. By default, this topic will be available to everyone, though you can select specific students who will have access and others won't. You can set due dates and availability dates for the discussion, so you can control when students can actually participate in this discussion. And when you've done all that, you just click Save, and the discussion shows up in your discussion list at the bottom it comes in at the top, I guess, of the unpinned discussions. Again, you can't change that. It's up there just because it was just put in. You, of course, have to publish it in order for students to be able to see it. You do that right there. And when people start actually posting in here, you'll see a number. You'll be able to see how many posts have been made. Okie dokie. And you can close a discussion for comments. If it's no longer, if that discussion's over with and you don't want people posting in it anymore, you can close any discussion for comments. If you do that, that'll pop down into this closed for comments list here. Your students can still access it and read the comments, but they can no longer post to it. And that's about everything I know about discussions. Does anybody else have a question or something they'd like to share about how they use discussions in their course?
I have a question.
Yes.
I mean, when I select the dates for the particular, timeline that I wanted to have students discuss about a topic, do I need to select the due date, but also the other option that you just
let me go back. Let me go back to that.
Yes,
to
please.
that page. You bet. You can always go back and change those things by editing the discussion. Oops, I'm sorry. You have to actually click on it to edit it, and then go to the edit button here. Sorry about that. Now, yes, if you want students to not be able to access the discussion outside of a certain time frame, you have to set these availability dates, the from, until, and until dates. The due date just tells them when they should have finished posting in order to get their grades. Mm-hmm. But it's not the due dates are not enforced. That is, a student could still access the and post if you haven't set availability dates or closed it for comments. They could still post after the due date. But if you set availability dates, they won't be able to get into it at all outside of these dates. So these are the ones that actually control access, the availability dates.
So if I just select the due date, I mean, means that that students can have access prior than the deadline, right?
That if you just select a due date, the students have access to the discussion immediately upon you saving it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no restriction. And that's usually the way you do things, unless there's a specific reason to keep them out of the discussion earlier or later.
Mm-hmm.
But you have the option to restrict access by time and date. And they'll see the link to, if it's linked into a module, they'll see the link, but if they click on it, they'll just be told that the discussion is locked and they can't get in.
Yes, I mean, sometimes, I don't know, when I work on my online classes specifically, I set the calendar on my,
Right.
syllabus. And
And
usually
you
I
can
like
put links to discussions in your calendar as well. Yeah.
So I tried, but I feel like sometimes the students get confused in terms when they want to go, prior than that specific calendar.
Right.
And so sometimes I'm like, well, this is what I have, stated on my syllabus, my course
Right.
calendar. And
I mean, some of your students don't read the syllabus.
Well,
Say
sometimes
it.
I don't know. And so some they do, and sometimes, other ones they just like, they just.
Precisely, yeah.
Yes.
The universal truth about syllabi.
But as far as my order and my kind of, deadlines, I like to set a calendar of, students' discussions, and also for every assignment that I, impose through the.
And of course, if you set a due date on the discussion, the due date will automatically appear in the calendar for your students.
Exactly.
But if you want them to know that the discussion is now open for the first time, you'd have to use an announcement and maybe also post an event manually into the calendar, indicating that. Canvas won't do that for you automatically.
Yes.
So,
okay.
And those are all good strategies. You can't over communicate with your students. If I don't get anything else across in this session today, there's no such thing as too much communication in an online course. Oh, they don't want to hear from me again. I don't want to badger them. Badger the living daylights out of them. I'm telling you, the three most important things in an online course are communication, communication, and communication. You can't do too much of it. You can't do enough of it. So anything you're willing to do and have the time to do will pay dividends and keep your students more engaged. And discussion topics are a part of that. You can, of course, participate in your own discussions and make comments on students' replies and so on. And then they love it. They love it.
Yeah, this is true.
They love any attention you give them in an online course. You just can't overdo that. Okay.
Thank you.
Dave, before
My
you
pleasure. Great discussion that arose out of that. Yes, someone else.
Yeah, Dave, before you leave that at the bottom for the available from and until, if you put that in, can you remove it? Because I'm kind of doing it as you go here. I've added it and I'm going back to try and just take it out.
Yeah, you can always go in and edit these and remove them if you need to.
Yeah, I'm there. I have it actually on my own screen and I'm going to click on it and it looks like it doesn't remove. So that's why I was wondering.
Let's try that. Okay, I put one in. Now I just highlight it, press delete. It's gone.
Gotcha. Thanks.
You bet. Excellent.
So Dave?
Yes.
I have a question. When I worked with doctoral students with Capella University, they had to post 3 replies Each week there were 2 discussion questions, and they had to post 3 replies to each discussion question.
That's
And
a very common strategy with discussions, yes.
it was great. And so by Tuesday, they had to post the initial reply to the discussion question. And then by Wednesday at midnight, they had to have posted their 2 replies. So you have sub dates in here so that you would have.
No, there's just one due date.
Right. And I see
set
that
of
there's
availability
just one
dates.
box, but you couldn't go in there and have like a due date and then that would be for the initial discussion and then change it as a due date for replies. Okay.
No, you just have to put that sort of information into the prompt at the top. And
so my favorite thing about working with them was that, you know, one response had to be to the discussion question, one reply had to be a supportive reply to a peer, but a third reply had to be something that expanded on a peer's posting. So either with your life experience or with research. And it could be supportive or it could be critical.
And so that very nicely illustrates how creative you can get with discussion topics and how you can accomplish all sorts of communication goals by setting requirements or suggestions like that. That's great.
And what the results was, I learned so much by their life experience, since it was right. And it was
a nice active discussion is just a tremendously engaging thing, not just for you, but for the students as well. And it's their, they're a major opportunity for them to get to know one another and share each other's experiences and knowledges as well. It's not, or knowledge as well. It's not just, make one reply to me and 2 replies to 2 of your colleagues or whatever. You can really tailor it just as you described. That's a wonderful example to accomplish all sorts of communication goals. Marvelous. Thanks for sharing.
That worked. When I came and was teaching with the community colleges, that worked too because it was 4 credit.
Oh yeah.
But now that I'm with continuing education and it's non-fee, non-credit, older adults, it's a whole completely different audience in terms of getting them to post. And one of the challenges, I think, is if they could have a posting that was anonymous and that it didn't have their name. I'm not sure why.
Oh yeah, we don't have that set as an option. they have to post. And there are obvious opportunities for problems there.
Right.
Okay.
Question, may I ask you, is it a good idea to use the discussion option for students to check in, just to take role?
I'm sorry, to check in what?
Is it a good idea to use the discussion option for students to check in, like for me, to take role to know who is present?
Yes, that's a wonderful, that would be an excellent value added use of discussions.
And how would I do that?
Well, you would just have to create a discussion topic where in the instructions you said you need to post to this forum at specified intervals, each day or twice a day or something like that, to check in. And I know that you've logged into Canvas and you're working and so on. Of course, there are analytics tools that will let you know whether students are logging in or not and what they're doing when they log in. But that would be an excellent use, value added use of a discussion topic, I think.
Thank you very much.
Dave,
Yeah. Yes.
if you create a discussion inside a module, would it then show up on the discussion tool over on the left of your main page?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Shows up both places. Typically, you notice this here, I have this discussion link in the course menu hidden from students. very often faculty will want the students to access the discussion through the modules rather than through the topic, or rather than through the link in the course menu, so that they access it in context with everything else that they're working on at the time. But that's an option you have. Either way. Okay, I think we do need to move on now. I'll be happy to answer more questions about discussions later on, if you have them. But we do need to take a look at the Canvas inbox tool, the so-called conversation tool, as Canvas refers to it. If you see that term, that's what they're talking about, your inbox down here. Hopefully your inbox is not nagging you with 319 messages that you need to read. It does keep you abreast when people have messaged you. Actually, this is probably due to the training course, where people are messaging every instructor in the course. But this little icon here does show you when you have messages waiting in Canvas. And the inbox tool is your Canvas messaging system. It's very much like an email system, but it's not email. It's an internal messaging system in Canvas. Every user in Canvas, faculty and student, have their own Canvas messaging inbox, which I'm in mine right now. And received messages sent by other Canvas users appear on the left-hand pane of the screen, and you can scroll up and down through them. Hopefully you don't have that many. This is an example of how messaging can rule your life. I have an insane number of messages there, most of which weren't really meant for me. I'm enrolled in too many classes as an administrator, but like here's one that just came in. That's interesting. Let's take a look at that. I can read it just by clicking on it. Is there a problem with Canada? I tried to click on the link and a text box pops up asking me for my username and password. Ew. Not sure what might have happened there. I mean, I have to go look at that. Obviously Canvas is fine. We're using it right now, but I don't know. And here's another one. How do I enable the attendance tool? Which is, there is an attendance tool in Canvas if you want to use it. It's really meant more for on-campus courses where you're using Canvas as a supplement, but you can use it online. But you can read these messages. You have all the usual email-like tools here. You can reply to a message, and if there are multiple, multiple people were addressed in this message, you can reply to everybody. You can archive the message, download it, save it. You can delete it if you don't want to see it anymore. And you can mark it as unread so that it still shows up with a little blue button here. You can forward it to someone. You can star it for as important for later. You get a little orange star there. You can also search by recipient. So all the usual tools that you have in the messaging system. But again, remember this is internal messaging inside Canvas. As a result, it's 100% reliable. It never fails. There are no spam filters, no network problems that can prevent any of the nature that can prevent internet email from being delivered. If you send a message to a student or a colleague using the Canvas inbox tool, it gets there, guaranteed. Never, well, let's put it this way, it's never failed. I don't know of anybody who's ever seen it fail. So as close to 100% guarantee in technology as you can get. So that makes this a very reliable communication system. You can, of course, send messages yourself. That's what this little pencil icon in a square is up here. Let me see if I can blow that up a little bit. There's your compose a message tool. You see that when you mouse over it, but otherwise it's not labeled, so that can be a little problematic. Actually, before I go to do that, let's look at these two boxes here. You can, by default, you'll see messages in your inbox tool that are sent from all of your courses. But if you want to see messages only from a particular course, you can select that. And suddenly the number of messages is lower. So you can select courses from which to view your messages. You can also create, you can also check for just unread messages, starred messages. You have a sent folder that you can view messages in, archived folder, and if you've allowed comments, you can see those. So that's what's controlled by these menus here. Go back to sending a message. You just click on this compose icon. That little pencil is a universal edit icon, like the 8-sided stop sign. Everybody knows what that means, pretty much. In order to send a message, you do have to select the course in which course or courses in which the, a course in which a student or a colleague is enrolled. And if you have a lot of courses, that can be a little tedious. I'm going to look for a course that I know I have some students, test students in. Oops. Scroll right by it there, that one. To choose recipient or recipients, plural, you use this little recipient icon here at the end of the to line. And you can look for teachers. I'm the only teacher in there, so that's not especially helpful. You can look for teaching assistants. You look for students most commonly. And when you do that, you see a list of all the students who are enrolled in your course, and you can select individual students to send to. Or you can send to multiple students. Or you can send to all students at one time. Well, you can send to everybody in the course, or you can send to all students. So you can use this to send a broadcast out. Whoops, I didn't mean to shut that off that fast. If you send to multiple recipients, if you check this box, this is basically a blind carbon copy option. That is, each student will get that you select will get the message, but they won't know who else got the message. They'll just, it will look like a personal message to them. And they won't be able to tell who else you sent it to. Other than that, of course, as the usual, you have a subject line and a text box. Note that you do not have the rich content editor here. So this is mainly going to be text messages, though you can attach files to an inbox message, and you can add a little video like we saw before. But you don't have the full rich content editor. You can't embed videos and things like that, or just any, like a YouTube video or something like that in it. So this is a little more limited than the announcements tool was, and we had that discussion earlier. But it's generally more than adequate. When you send this message, it goes to the recipient's Canvas inbox. And they will see a little number pop up here that will tell them they have messages waiting. They can go in and view those. If the students have not changed their default notification options, we saw those before under account notifications, generally there is a conversation message notification, generally that's on. So if that's left on, when you send a student or a colleague a message in Canvas, that message will also be forwarded on to their personal email box. And that's a nice thing. So that then it becomes an end-to-end communication system from Canvas all the way to their personal email. And that's very useful, of course, if like you have students who are not logging in. You can still get messages to through the inbox tool. But you can't be guaranteed of that because they can turn that notification, notification off. If they don't have the check mark highlighted in green, they won't get it. They can just turn it off. So you can't be sure of that, but it's a good bet. It's worth a try if you're trying to get in touch with a student who's no longer logging in. Of course, you can also send to their personal email through the your roster tool in the portal. But if you're already in Canvas, you might as well try from here as well. And if the student gets that email in their personal email box, they can reply to you there, and that reply will go back to your Canvas inbox. So you'll see it appear here. And if you have left that notification setting on, it will also go back to your personal email. So you'll see it there. This is one of the reasons why Canvas can get a bit chatty. It can fill up your email inbox if you leave this notification, the conversation message notification, turned on. So that's why some people choose to use a dedicated email address, like a free email, a Gmail address or something that they've created just to use with Canvas, so that messages that end up in your personal email from Canvas of all sorts are not mixed in with all your other district spam and so on. That's an option that you have. Okay, let's see. Questions about the Canvas inbox tool? Do we have any here? Yeah, I wish they would put the rich content editor. Yeah, that would in the inbox. That would be nice. Unfortunately, they're sort of anticipating I think the reason why they don't do that is they're sort of anticipating that those messages that you send to your students will be forwarded to their personal email. And there are things that you can put into a message that, like that little video tool where you could record a video for your students. If that message is then forwarded onto the student's personal inbox, that won't go with it. The internet SMTP, the Simple Mail Transport Protocol on the internet, doesn't allow videos to be embedded videos to be emailed like that, for obvious reasons. You might click on an email someday and get a video that you didn't want to see. So that may be why they don't do that. But it would be handy in many cases. And
I have
yes,
a question.
Good.
Oh,
Go ahead, Maria. I'll ask later.
Oh, okay. It's a quick question. You know, sometimes when I copy an announcement to my email, it seems like the entire order of that announcement doesn't really go in the same order. Sorry to be redundant.
The formatting is
formatting.
messy.
So
yeah.
I'm having a very hard time because I never struggle with Blackboard, but with Canvas, it's just a mess when I do copy paste. Because usually what I do, I send an announcement.
Well, we did have that problem with Blackboard as well, but you're talking about copying from an announcement into your Canvas inbox tool?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's not the rich content editor anymore. It's just a text editor or text box. and a lot of that formatting gets lost.
Yes, I mean, it's annoying every time that I just have to really, go to that mode where I have to copy paste a text.
Right.
It loses the order. I don't know why.
Yeah, it loses a lot of the formatting, yeah.
Yes. So I was wondering, if
Dave, my
there's...
question is that I have trouble using the tab button to indent.
In the inbox tool. But yes, Maria, just to finish up, yeah, that it would be nice if we had the full rich content editor in the inbox tool, but we just don't. So there's not really much you can do about that, unfortunately. You could perhaps create your message as a PDF and attach it, but that would be a hassle and extra time.
I mean, it's kind of double work.
It would be nice. The one thing you can do is go to the help menu in Canvas, and there is an entry in that help menu, submit a feature idea. You can click there and you can make that suggestion. I don't want to do that right now, but you can make a suggestion there. And you can even search to see if other people have made that suggestion, and you can add your vote to that, because that's how they decide which that's one of the factors and they use when they're deciding what new features to add to Canvas. So I would submit that and see, because they listen to faculty. They listen to faculty a lot more than they listen to any administrators. So do that by all means. Now, we had another question. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Talking about...
Yes, how to indent while writing an email in the inbox. The
inbox tool?
Yeah.
I haven't tried that. Let's see. No, it doesn't work at all. It takes you to the next, down here to the attachment.
Okay. I was just,
sorry.
I just wanted to know. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, this is really just a basic text box. If you want formatting options and so on, you'll probably have to make an announcement and then hope the students have their notifications turned on.
Okay,
so
thank
that
you.
they will get that. Good question. I hadn't tried that myself. I just learned something. Okay. So the Canvas inbox tool is, I would say, on balance, a lot better than what we had. In Blackboard, we had two messaging systems, an internal system that was kind of like this, that didn't have any external connections, and then an email send tool. And it was difficult to know which one to use and which one to enable, and the students were confused about which one to look at and things like that. Here, at least, everything is included in one tool. And as long as people's notification settings are set, and you can suggest to your students to turn that notification on if it's not turned on, say that, I expect you to get these announcements through email or these messages through your email. So please turn that on. Otherwise, you may miss something important. And I'll be assuming you have turned that on. But it is a nice end-to-end communication system. Yes?
Did you ever answer Ratty's question about what's the difference between peer reviews and how it's different from reply? And if, how do you, somebody else asked how to show us what happens if you click yes to peer reviews?
Basically, peer reviews allow you to assign students to comment on other people's work.
You assign them.
And it's a little odd in a discussion topic, because people can just comment on somebody else's work by replying to them. Indeed,
right.
You can accomplish the same thing by just replying. But if you're grading people on their replies and on their posts, you can have their peers, their other students, comment on their work.
So it's a tracking
and make
system.
suggestions about how to improve it. And you would set that up. I have to go back into that course. Can't really show that to you because I don't have active students in this course. But basically, to set it up for a discussion forum, you would just go to the discussions tool.
Is it a tracking system then? To make sure.
Well, it is saved, so you would be able to see it. It's not intended that way, but you would be able to see it. You can edit the discussion. You can turn on peer review. There's an option for that here. Require peer reviews. You can then manually assign students to other students.
Okay.
Or you can automatically assign them and assign so many reviews per student. Say, you have to go and you have to review 2 other students' work in this and provide comments.
So it's just a reply, but it's a required reply.
Yeah.
And it shows up on there.
In here, but you can do this. This is peer review is more common with homework assignments.
Right, okay.
Everybody has one submission, and then you can require students to make suggestions to their peers on how they could improve their homework submission.
Okay. Not necessary for non-credit. Okay.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
It's a can of worms.
But
But it can be very, very helpful. It can really increase student-to-student communication and engagement and so on. But it can open a can of worms.
Okay, thank you.
You
Dave,
bet. Thanks for asking. Yes.
if you created a discussion and worth 15 points, 10 for your post, and 2.5 points for each of your posts to your responses to 2 other people.
Mm-hmm. Right.
When you want to give them the 15 points, you'd have to go into the discussion and search for every individual student to find out. Okay.
No, you won't have to. The speed grader saves you from having to do that. Here I am in the grade book, this course, and I've got a discussion, a graded discussion here. Let me find that. There it is. This is a discussion. It's a little hard to tell where your discussions are here.
Right.
If you have them set in assignment groups, you can only display the discussions, but that requires you to organize your assessments in discussion group or in assignment groups. Come see the assessment and grading sessions later on in the month for more detail on that. But here's a submission for this discussion. A student has participated in this discussion. I can click on that icon in the usual way and then click the right arrow and go to the speed grader. And it pulls all the posts that student has made
Excellent.
out. So
My
you can
thumbs
see.
are up in the air. Good. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, this one really makes life easier.
Excellent.
Okay, great question. All right, let's take a brief look at Pronto. I can't tell you too much about Pronto because I don't know too much about it. I'm just starting to use it myself. But Pronto is basically a chat tool that's been taking steroids so long that it can barely, barely get through a door. It's tremendously enhanced chat tool. It was originally designed as a mobile app, so there's a mobile app that goes with it that you can use. And but It's basically a live chat, but it's confined within a course generally, and it allows people who are in the same course who happen to be online at the same time to communicate with one another in real time via a chat tool. You access it generally from the Pronto link in the Global Access menu in your course. And you automatically already have an account at Pronto. Usually to use Pronto, you have to go and you have to sign up, create an account, and it costs money. It's not a free service. But the state has paid for it and integrated it into our Canvas system. Canvas has a connector that allows it to communicate with Pronto. So you don't have to create an account. You've already got a Pronto account by virtue of having a Canvas account at the SDCCD. So you access it just by clicking on the Pronto button there, and a little box pops up that says connecting. And it's a chat tool. You can type a message. And anybody who is online in Canvas can see that. Or they can see it later if they log into Canvas by clicking on their Pronto tool. You can also set notification preferences for Pronto so that Pronto, when you enter Canvas, if there are messages in the Pronto chat, you'll be told about it. Indeed, there'll also be a little number down here. Just like with the inbox tool, you'll see a little blue, white number on blue that will tell you that something's been posted by someone else since the last time you checked. So this can be real time or asynchronous. Type a message is quite basic. You can also, however, do a live stream. And you can talk to people, and they can see you and hear you. Now, why am I not seeing that? This is what I'm not quite sure about. I haven't actually tried that from here. It should be finding, oh, here's where you can enable notifications so you don't miss a message while you're somewhere else in Canvas. So I can allow that. Now, I'm not sure why that live stream didn't show up there. Again, we're learning about this as we go along.
When you mean live stream, you mean a student could be on the other end, and so we wouldn't have to go to Zoom. We could have a virtual meeting right here. Woohoo!
Yep. Yeah, wow. Pretty cool. And people can join that live stream. I don't know why that didn't start here. I'm
excellent.
Probably don't have something set right. However, I could do that with my phone, which I have in the meeting here. And I can, let's see, I can share my screen from the phone. Oh, Richard, you're probably right. Thanks for that chat message I got. Probably the fact that I'm in a Zoom meeting right now is interfering with that because Pronto is trying to use the same webcam as Zoom. I bet you're right. Thanks. But let me share my screen from my phone. Oh, right. I have to stop my screen share. Just a second. I'm going to stop my Zoom screen share, the one from my computer. And now I should be able to share my phone screen.
How did Richard just cut into your share screen with a message.
He posted a message to the Zoom chat.
Oh, the Zoom.
And it popped up on my phone, which I happen to be looking at the moment. Okay, so, yep, you're seeing my phone screen. If I get out of this broadcast screen here, you're seeing my iPhone home screen. Let me flip that back up vertical so that that works better in this case. I can go into Pronto, have that icon, have the app on my phone that I've loaded right there in the lower left. Can't really point at it, sharing my screen this way. This is something neat you can do. You can do this with Android phones as well. And you can share if you're trying to show your students how to do something on your phone, on their phones, you can share your screen in Zoom from the phone if you just join your phone to the meeting. And if I tap Pronto there, after a second, there's the Pronto chat that is going on. And if you look at the bottom of that screen, there's 5 icons. You can, the leftmost icon, a little camera, allows you to take a picture of yourself and share that. The big circle is a live stream. If I tap that, it'll let me use and now I'll go live in. And now I'm just waiting for others to join. You have to join the live stream in order to see it. And I'm not seeing that here. Let's see, I can type a message. Live. And again, I apologize when I'm learning this as we go along. Live streaming now. And I can send that message. There's a little, looks like a green paper airplane. I can send that message. And I don't know why that is not showing up here. I should have a little message like that, because I am in that course. Let me make sure I'm in the right course. That could be it. Yeah, I'm in the right course because this was earlier. So I'm not quite sure why that's not working in Pronto right now. We'll find out more about that if you attend this afternoon at 1 o'clock. And we'll find out from people that know this much better than me. You can go from course to course on your phone. You see all of your courses listed there, and you can move from course to course and participate in chats at different times in different courses. And if you have your Pronto notifications set, as I showed you earlier, if somebody posts to a Pronto chant in another one of your courses, you'll see a notification and you can go into that course and look at it and so on. So it's a really multifaceted chat tool with lots of capability and lots of communication options, which I would encourage you to investigate. It's there, your students may be using it whether you are or not. You can't stop them from using it. So you might as well know something about it and be able to participate with them in that. So it's another way to do live interactions without having to set up a Zoom meeting and so on. And it's faster, it's more spontaneous, and it's really cool. And we'll figure out those live streams and so on and how to get those to work as time goes along. That's obviously more than I know about Pronto right now. It is a fascinating new tool to try. So I encourage you to play with that. And if you have any other questions, I'll try to answer them, but the chances are pretty good that I won't be able to. Richard, interesting point. When I use something else like Google Voice, which has sort of similar capabilities, I can't be sure which class a student is from, and this is really the student or not. And yeah, since Pronto is integrated with Canvas, you know that anybody that's taking part in a Pronto chat within a given course is enrolled in that course. So, and you know which student it is and which class they're in. So that's an interesting point. Okay, we'll learn a lot more about that. Okay. The other thing I usually talk about in this session is, of course, the other communication tool I usually talk about in this session is Zoom. I don't think I need to belabor that point too much. Zoom is our preferred real-time communication tool in which is integrated with Canvas, which most of us are using along with Canvas in our online courses. It is the other aspect of online education, which before COVID was not really emphasized nearly as much as Canvas. Most online courses were mostly asynchronous, and they were mostly delivered fully through Canvas, and many instructors never used Zoom at all in their online courses. And that was a real opportunity wasted, because Zoom as a real-time tool is incredibly useful, even in a fully online course. You can communicate with your students in real time, or you can record very rich communication sessions that your students can view later on their own time by putting the links to those sessions into recordings into Canvas. So we've really seen a resurgence of synchronous activity in fully online courses, largely due to the massive influx of folks who have never taught online before and who are much more comfortable in a synchronous environment. And I think that's been a great thing. I think we're seeing people use Zoom in their online courses a lot more than they did before the beginning of March this year, because it's been brought home to us all, how important that kind of real-time, near face-to-face interaction is in a fully online course. It engages students much more effectively than mere asynchronous interaction through Canvas. While that's vital, Zoom is also vital, and real-time interaction is also vital with your students. Even if you can't require them to attend your Zoom meetings, you can certainly encourage them to do so, and you can provide them with the recordings so that they can see what they missed later on. And indeed, if your course is coded in PeopleSoft as one with specific meeting times, you can require your students, just as you can require them to come to the classroom or insist they come to the classroom. You can insist they attend the Zoom meetings. You won't get 100% compliance any more than you got in the classroom, but you'll get a lot more compliance that way. And I think that's a great thing. I think fully online courses that make extensive use of synchronous interactions, like we're doing in Zoom right now, as well as the asynchronous information delivery and assessment that you can do in Canvas, are by far the best sort of online courses. In that event, you're really not so much dealing with a fully online course as you are a blended course, where you have a mixture of synchronous and asynchronous interaction in the course. And that has been studied to death by educational professionals and theorists for years, and it's quite clear that blended learning, where you use a mixture of synchronous and asynchronous activities, and a mixture of online and in-person activities when you can actually do that, are far superior to either fully online courses that are totally asynchronous, that only use Canvas, or face-to-face courses in the classroom that don't use any online resources, any synchronous or asynchronous online resources. Blended learning is the best for our students. And it has great advantages to faculty as well, of course, because you can do everything from office hours to lectures synchronously or asynchronously via Zoom, and reach people who you might not have reached in the classroom. And you're freed from many of the constraints that you might operate under in the classroom. Students not being able to see the board because they choose to sit in the back of the room and they have vision problems and so on. So it's just wonderful to see things like Zoom being used far more in online courses these days than was heretofore the case. So that's probably all I really needed to say about that today. If you want more information about using Zoom, I will be offering let's see, let me share my screen again here. And I can remind myself of what I'm doing when here. Going to pull out my Outlook calendar here. I will be offering, there we are today, on Monday from 2 to 4, an introduction to Zoom session where we'll be talking about how to use Zoom specifically and try to make no assumptions about prior experience with Zoom. And then I've got one on the 14th next week, content creation Canvas, how to start building your Canvas course. But one that's not scheduled yet is on the 13th. On Thursday will be from 2 to 4. You'll get a message from Mary about this. I'll be talking about Canvas Studio. And I'd like to use the 10 minutes or so I have left here to just give you a little brief introduction to that. This is a brand new tool that we have just had activated in our Canvas system. That is a video creation and management and sharing system. Sorry, that word wouldn't come out for some reason. That's now available to everyone with an account in Canvas. Both faculty and students have access to this. You can access it from the Global Access menu, or there may well be a link in your course menu as well. It'll take you to the same place. You have an account on Canvas Studio by virtue of having a Canvas account. And this is, first off, a place where you can store your videos. You can use this instead of YouTube, instead of the Zoom cloud. You can put all your videos here if you like, and have them in one place. You can organize them by creating collections, like workshop recordings. And there I'm in that collection, but I haven't added anything to it yet. This is what Canvas Studio will look like when you first enter. I can go to other collections. Let's see, nope, not from there. I can go back to my library here in the up here, and this is sort of the root of my video library, but I can have as many collections as I like. And I can view by collections and then view what's in a given collection. So I can organize my videos that I've from everywhere by putting them in here. To add a video to this collection that's already created, I just click the add button up here. And I can, if I have a video in a file on my local hard drive, I can add it from here. I can browse for files. And I can go to my Zoom recordings. I typically record my Zoom recordings to my local hard drive, so I can go to my Zoom folder under Documents. And I can pick a recording I made. Let me find one here recently. Canvas overview from the 4th of August. So I'll look for August 4th. That's it. That was my Zoom recording from August 4th. And I happen to know by checking my calendar that that was a Canvas overview. I can click on that video. I can open it. And it starts uploading to Canvas Studio. So I can have it there. And that'll take a little while. That's a big video. Once I add a video, if I go back to my library, the root of my library, and see some videos that I've already uploaded, I can view those videos from here. I can share them. I can create public links for them. I can share them with individual people. But more commonly, I can also embed them into my Canvas course. Let's see if I can remember how to do that. Oh, yeah. To embed a video stored on my Canvas Studio library into a page in my Canvas course, I can just go to my Canvas course. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I can go back into my course from Studio. Oh. And I can create a page. In the usual way. And in the rich content editor now, there's a little blue V about halfway across in the second layer of icons in the rich content editor. If you click that, Canvas Studio is now an option in there. Click on that. It will bring up my videos that I have in Canvas Studio. If I want to embed this one into the page, I can just select it. I can decide whether to allow comments or not. I think I'll eschew that. And I can allow people to download it if I want to. That's turned off by default. But basically all I have to do is just click Embed. And the video is embedded in my Canvas page. Things are showing up a little small because I'm zoomed in here, I believe, still. Yep. So it'll look a little different if I'm, there we go. It's embedded that video in my page. Oops. I didn't want to play that right then. There we go. Now I can save that page. Oh, I got to enter a title. Test video. Page. Save that page. Now my students can come along and play that video. I'm not limited, of course, to videos that I've already created. Canvas Studio also has a video creation tool built into it. You just click the record button. And you can record either your computer screen or your webcam. And those of you who are used to doing screen capture videos, screencasting, will recognize this screen capture interface. I'm doing this just in real time from within Canvas. I didn't have to go to another website or anything like that. It's all integrated into Canvas. It tells me to download and install the application to continue. Download. That's interesting. That should already be there. Listen, not quite sure why that's doing that because I've done this before. Try that again. Open the screen recorder. It knows it's in there. I'm not quite sure why we went through that fuss.
Dave, does it include captions?
Yes, good question. I'm not sure why I'm going through this right now. Let me go ahead and I'll show you where to find the captions here, or how to request captions. In I don't know why, perhaps it decided my screen recorder was out of date. Okay, fine. Shouldn't have had to do that. I'm not quite sure why that happened because I did this yesterday. See if it comes up this time. Anyway, this is going to be a familiar screen recorder. What? Okay, I don't know what's going on here. Was not doing this earlier, so I will have to figure out relaunch screen capture from the record menu. May have something to do with the fact that I'm in a Zoom meeting right now, and that may be interfering with this. Normally, it just brings up the screen capture recorder, which is in fact the recorder from Screencast-O-Matic. For those of you who use Screencast-O-Matic and have used that in the past, this recorder will look exactly like the one in Screencast-O-Matic. It's a licensed version of that screen recorder. Or you can record from your webcam. I'll have to select a different camera than the one I'm using with Zoom. And you can record from right here and record a talking head video from your webcam and store it in Canvas Studio right from here. So those are your two basic activities in Canvas Studio. You can
you edit
video. No, it doesn't have an editor built in. Well, let me say this. I don't think so. I haven't found it yet. If you have a Screencast-O-Matic Pro account, you can edit using the Screencast-O-Matic editor. But I don't think this gives you that capability.
I think I have Camtasia.
Or you can use Camtasia, which is much better. If you have videos on YouTube, or if you just want to add a YouTube video to your Canvas Studio list or library, you can go to YouTube. And I don't think this even has to be one of your videos. Let's try that. Let's just pick something that's, Ray Charles is fairly uncontroversial, I would think, at this point. You can go to the video. You can get the share URL for that video. copy that to your clipboard, go back to Studio, paste that in here, and add it. Let's try that. Yeah, there it is. Now you have this ready. You don't have to go looking on YouTube for it again. The video is actually still on YouTube. It didn't really download it into your Studio, but it put a link to it in there. And you can then embed this video into your course wherever you like. Of course, you can do that page by page in Canvas already, but here it is stored in case maybe you're going to want to use this video over and over again in different courses. It's stored in your Canvas Studio, and you know where it is. You can go and get it and embed it in a page in Canvas in any course, anytime. So again, Camtasia Studio is a video management system that allows you to store and organize your videos in Canvas Studio. And this is a separate system in terms of storage from our Canvas learning management system. So these videos are not using up space in your Canvas account, LMS account. It's a separate pool of storage, so you can store right now we're operating on the assumption you can probably just store about as much video as you want to in here. We'll find out how true that is as we go along. Right now, I wouldn't worry about it. I'm just dropping my workshop recordings in and things like that, and because then I have them handy whenever I need them. That one hasn't loaded yet, so, or I didn't save something when I put that in before. But anyway, let's see, can I go to collections and see? No, I must have dumped out without saving something here. Sorry about that. But anyway, you can add video to your library, to your heart's content, video that you find online, or that you have already created and that you have in video files on your hard drive. Classic example would be one of your Zoom recordings. And you can create new videos right from within here, either webcam videos or screen recording videos, screencasts, that you can then share with your students by embedding them in Canvas pages or just linking them into a Canvas module or whatever. So this is really looking like becoming our primary video tool for use with Canvas. So that any video, instructional video that you create can be either created here and stored, or stored here if you already have it created somewhere else, and then immediately available for you to use in your Canvas courses. So this is a big deal. This is a huge new capability, because video, of course, is the most information dense form of instructional media that there is. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, how many words are 30 pictures a second worth? Which is what you have in a video. So incredible form of instructional material that you can provide to your students in Canvas. And here you have just about in one place, in one package, just about all the tools that you need to use video in your online courses. And it's all integrated with Canvas, so it's wonderful. And we'll be doing, I will be on Thursday, the 13th from 2 to 4, I'll be doing a session purely on Studio where I'll go into a lot more detail, because there are more things about this. You can put quizzes into your videos and have those grades stored in your grade book. You can, students can comment on videos that you provide to them, so they can have like a discussion forum going on inside a video, and they can see the comments with the video in context and so on. So it can be, you can be share, it's like you can all be talking about a video at the same time you're watching it. It's just got some marvelous capabilities, and we'll be covering all that on Thursday, and I'll check out some of those glitches that I ran into today. All right. We're 5 minutes over. Sorry about that. That's certainly all the presentation I have today. Now I'll start taking questions. I will go through all the questions in the chat tool as well, but let me take those for people who are still here first. If you put one in the chat tool and you want to ask it verbally, that's fine. We'll get it taken care of right now. Just speak up. You're probably muted. Be sure to unmute yourself if you need to talk.
Could you go over the redirect tool? The
redirect tool in Canvas. Sure. The redirect tool in Canvas is a way for you to add links to your course menu in a Canvas course, links to content outside of Canvas, external content. It's accessed in the settings menu in Canvas, in your Canvas course, and these links will be associated with a particular course. To find the redirect tool, you go to your install, you go to your settings, to the apps tab at the top of the screen, and click on installed, so you don't have to sort through all the apps that you don't have available to you in our Canvas system. And there you will see, among others, the redirect tool. It's a little difficult for me to point at it because when I do, it turns into a label, but it's this swoopy right arrow here, the blue arrow, and it's called the redirect tool. And again, what it will allow you to do is to put a link into this course menu over here that accesses some external resource, something outside of Canvas. And this is about the only way you can add stuff to your Canvas course menu. To do so, you click Add App. I am sharing, yep. And you get a little Add App box. And you really only have to do two things here. You have to give the link a name, some text that will appear in your course menu. A typical use for this is to put a link to your Zoom personal meeting room in your course menu in Canvas. Is that where you're coming from, Ardith?
Yeah, but it's not showing up after I do it.
Let's check. If I name it, let's just name this Zoom meeting room. You have to be a little conservative here. If you put too much text in here, it won't look good in your course menu. But Zoom meeting room link. I've done this before, so I'm trying not to have the same thing appear with the same name twice. I've done this in this course before. So Zoom meeting room link for Dave. You have to put a name in there. And then you have to put the web address, the URL, to which you want to send people when they click on this link. In this case, it would be my Zoom personal meeting room invite link, which I can find at zoom.us. I may have to sign in. Yep, I have to sign in with my Confer Zoom credentials in order to get my meeting room, personal meeting room link. Then I go to meetings in my Zoom management screens and go to my personal meeting room. I click on personal meeting room, and that will take me to my personal meeting room, and there is my personal invite link. That's what you all clicked on in that email when you came into this meeting today. So I'll highlight that and copy it to the clipboard. and go back to Canvas, and I'll paste that into this box labeled URL redirect. All right, there it is. In order to have this actually show up in the course menu, I need to be sure to check show in course navigation. I don't know why that's not automatically checked. And generally, you do want to force anything that you link to in the course menu to open in a new tab. That is checked by default. It's fairly important to do that in most cases. And then we'll just click, once we've put all that information in, we'll just click Add App. You'll note that it doesn't appear immediately in the course menu.
Yeah.
In order to see it, you have to refresh the screen. And there it is. That's the one I just added.
Refresh them.
Indeed, it would have worked. It worked for you. And the next time you entered the course, it would have been there.
Oh, maybe. If I have too many now, can I get rid of them?
Actually, you can't. But if you send me, but I can get rid of them for you.
Okay.
If you'll send me the CRN for the course and describe exactly which ones you want removed,
all right,
I'll take them out for you.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right.
Yeah, it won't let you. That's something to be aware of. But once you put a redirect link in, you can't take it back out. You have to ask one of us to do it. Yes, Maria.
Yes, I mean, could you just show me once again, or show us once again, you know, how did you retrieve that link from the Zoom meeting?
From Zoom, how did I get the URL?
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah, I went to zoom.us, the Zoom website. I just opened up a web browser or a separate tab in the web browser and typed in on the location or the address line here, I just typed zoom.us, which is the Zoom corporate website. And those Confer Zoom accounts that you have are just regular professional Zoom accounts that are being paid for by the state chancellor's office. So they're in a group. And when I first went here, I had to sign in.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm already signed in now. It remembered me. So I can just go to my account.
Mm-hmm.
And here I see this is my Zoom management or account management screens, where I can do things like change settings in Zoom. I can add profile image. I can look at, and I can check on and start meetings, schedule new meetings, things like that. I can do all that from here. You also get a Zoom, when you enter a Zoom meeting, you also get a Zoom desktop client that looks something like this, that you can always start up on your computer. So you have that as well. But if you want to get information about your account, if you want to change settings in your account, you have to go to the Zoom website. And if you go to the meetings link in your Zoom management screens, and if you are using your personal meeting room, your personal Zoom meeting room exclusively, you can go to the information for that personal meeting room here. Just to give a little context to this, if you just start a meeting from the Zoom website, Zoom randomly creates a new Zoom meeting room with a new meeting ID and a new meeting join link that you've never used before. And there are obvious dangers in that because if your students are using an old link or something, they may end up in the wrong Zoom meeting. You be in one and they be in another. And that's the other thing that can happen with Zoom, along with forgetting to start the recording, is having your students show up in one meeting room and you're in another and nobody can see each other.
Yes.
So
yes.
you can avoid that by exclusively using your personal meeting room.
I mean,
the link,
this,
yes.
I mean, sorry to interrupt. I remember what I kind of end up doing during the spring semester, because when I click under, on the other way to host a meeting, I noticed that sometimes I wasn't in a different room than my students. So
Right.
I just forgot how to get into that link of my, invite link. But
Right.
I cannot really retrieve that link from within Canvas, right?
Yes, you can. If you go to your personal if you click on personal meeting room in the meetings tab in Zoom, your invite, your your personal meeting room ID will be there, and that never changes. Also, your invite link, which is what you usually provide to your students, will be there, and it does not change.
So as long as I give to my students the invite link, I mean, that's enough, right?
That's all they need. And they will be in the right Zoom meeting room with you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's how you get that, is by logging into your Zoom account.
Yes, but my other question was, can I retry my invite link from Canvas itself?
Yes, that's what we just did. I just put a link in the course menu in Canvas to that personal meeting room. If one of my students or I click on that link, and you can enter it the same way. It's told to enter it and open a new tab, but now if I click open Zoom meetings here, it would take me right to my personal meeting room, which I don't want to do because we're already in there. I'm not sure what would happen.
Yeah, okay.
But that's all it takes. So if you put that link in your course menu, your students will always be able to access your personal meeting room. Now, you'll also have to provide them with a schedule so they know when to go in there, but this will get them to the right place in Zoom every time. You can also, yes, go ahead.
Yes, so you just created, I mean, I saw it, but I kind of, I think you were doing kind of fast, so I wasn't really
sorry about
that. I did not really see the steps. So
right.
you just go to settings.
Go ahead.
You go first to settings, right, to create that link, the
right.
Zoom meeting room.
To create that link in the course menu. But you don't have to create a course menu link. You could just put your Zoom meeting link in your getting started or your introductory module by adding an external URL.
Okay.
And pasting that Zoom join link in there, and then just calling that Zoom meeting. I'm losing the ability to type, and I was never that good. I would recommend loading it in a new tab if you do that, and then add the item. Now the students can access your Zoom meeting room just by clicking on that link. So,
Dave, what about the phone number? People who are phoning in.
Yeah, if you want to provide them with the phone number as well, the phone numbers as well, you can do that. The easiest way to do that, you can't do that in the course menu really, but you can do that in a Canvas page. You could just make a Canvas page, make a new page. We'll call this Zoom meeting page, whatever. Add that item to the module. And then I can edit that page by clicking on the name of it and going to the edit button, usual stuff. And now I can go to Zoom So yes, I'm sharing my screen. And let's see, can I get that from these screens? Actually, I'm not sure I can. That's a good question. To get those, you usually get those numbers from the, oh, wait a minute. Copy invitation. Yes, sorry. Senior moment, pardon me. When you go to your personal meeting room, there's a button that says copy invitation. If you click that, this, which contains those telephone numbers, is copied to your clipboard. Now you can go back to Canvas to that page and you can paste this, Control V, into your Canvas page. And this includes your join link. This is the customized join link, but it works just fine. And you can highlight that, copy that text to the clipboard. Then you can go to your link to URL button, and you can paste your Zoom join link into there and insert the link. So now this is a clickable link. If I save this,
Can you do the Skype one too?
I'm sorry?
Can you put in the Skype one for business?
Oh yeah, that's in there too. Or you could take that out if you didn't want it in there.
Well, I have people using Skype.
Well, that's a phone service, a voice over IP phone service that some people use. So it's an alternative way to connect to the audio on a Zoom meeting. But I would think it's fairly unlikely that your students would be using that. So I might be tempted to delete that.
They're asking for it.
Well, there it is.
I have just another quick question. So the number that I got on my web link, the Zoom meeting link that I had on during the spring semester is the same as the fall, will never change.
Oh, I better be careful with this. I'm not sure what you're referring to there.
Well, the invite link.
Oh, your personal meeting room link?
Yes.
That will be the same as it was. That never changes.
Okay.
Good question. But anyway, you can put this page then in a module, like your opening module, where your students can always find it. And then they would have every bit of information they need. It might almost be too much information. They'd have the link so they could just click here and go right in, but that would assume they were using Zoom, the sound, computer sound in Zoom. Also, these phone numbers are always available in the Zoom meeting menus. If I bring my Zoom screen back over here, the students can in their Zoom menus, and they have this, attendees have this function as well. If you open this Zoom audio menu right next to the microphone, they can switch to phone audio and they get the numbers. Or when they first enter the meeting, they'll be asked, do you want to use computer audio or phone audio? And if they say phone audio, the numbers will display for them. So they'll always have access to those numbers. You don't necessarily have to provide those in advance. They're available in real time as they're entering the Zoom meeting. hopefully most students are going to have at least speakers on their computer. Many of them are going to be attending your Zoom meetings from their phones. And of course, the phone has a microphone and a camera built into it. Well, it'll be relatively rare that a student will be accessing from a computer that doesn't have speakers.
Yeah, well, I have some of those.
But there will be some of them. And they can use their smartphone then as the audio entry. And there's certainly nothing wrong with providing them with these phone numbers in advance like this. But of course, a caveat for using those phone numbers is those aren't toll-free numbers. If the student doesn't have a long distance, free long distance plan, it may end up costing them money to attend the audio of your Zoom meeting, or to hear the audio and be able to talk back to you and so on. So I always try to point that out, because it doesn't point that out here. Oh yeah, it does, US toll. So at least they know in advance, but that's a problem, potential problem. Many students' phone plans are quite limited. They have a limited amount of long distance. So.
Okay, Dave, I've got a question here, if you're done with that part.
Hey, very good.
While I'm watching these sessions, there's some material I know already, and there's some material I would like to be able to record. Can I record portions of what you are doing?
If I do this, if you ask me that question at the beginning, and I bring you up in gallery view and I right click on your image,
okay,
I can allow record.
All right.
Now you can.
Now, if I have a Mac and I can't right click for my students.
Command click on a Mac. Command click.
Command click, okay. Got it.
Same as right click on a PC, yeah.
Okay.
So yes, you can do that, and you can let your students record. But you
came up at a session Wednesday night where they wanted to record part of the thing I was doing, demonstrating the instrument, and not
that's a great idea.
Okay.
But the downside is you have to. It's a person by person thing. You can't give them all the right to record at one time. You have to do it one person at a time. You could give, like I could give Yanina record access as well at the same time. You could give everybody in the meeting record access, but you have to do it one at a time.
Okay. For 30 people, it will take a while, but I think it would be well worth my time in the beginning.
Not that long. Maybe a minute or less. It's not going to take you much more than 2 seconds a person. Once you get going, and you know where that is in the menu, you can do it pretty quickly. So it might take a minute. And
Dave,
I agree, that would be valuable. And since the recordings are going to be sent to their local computers, it doesn't use up bandwidth in your Zoom meeting and so on. It's fine. It's not going to crash your meeting to do that.
They wouldn't have the option, they don't have to choose between record to iCloud or record to their computer?
No, in this event, their only option is to record to their computer. Only the host can record to the Zoom cloud in a meeting. So
and then they would know to look for it. They would know to look for it under their documents.
Well, you might have to tell them that.
Right.
Unless they've done it before, you would have to tell them that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe there's any little note that pops up that says, you're recording to your local computer. You'll find it here in your documents folder under Zoom. I don't believe it's quite that friendly. So you'd have to tell them that. But you can do it, and they can do it, and it works fine. We've tried it, tests and so on. And it's a wonderful thing to be able to do. Of course, we always record these sessions if we remember to start the recording. But then, you know, that you get the whole session and you have to fast forward, to scrub through it and look for what you're interested in, which can be a little tedious. So
I've got my students reminding me now to press the record button for them so that they can have a whole
and if I hadn't done that today, there would have been half a dozen people in this meeting at least who would have done that for me, because they've been in my meetings before and they know that my short-term memory is crap. So they look after me. That's a wonderful community sort of thing. And that Zoom is such a community or engagement builder, you know, a rapport builder. You really, I think sometimes you get to know your students better on Zoom than you do in the classroom. One thing you can, if they've got their webcams turned on, you can see them better, and they can see you better probably than if they're sitting in the back of the room. And it's just a very social sort of platform that replaces so much that we're missing if we, you know, by not being in the classroom.
So Dave, if they do that where the student records, does it meet ADA compliance with captions?
Doesn't have to. It doesn't have to, because if they're recording it, presumably they can hear. I guess you could get into a situation where if a hearing impaired student did the recording, no, the recording is not going to be captioned.
Mm-hmm.
But they could always upload it to YouTube, which is free, and then it would be captioned. Right. So that's something they'd have to take responsibility for. Right. We're certainly not going to allow, we're not going to restrict record options based upon the possibility that a hearing impaired student might do that. Right. But we might have to provide them with the information they need in order to get the captions in that event.
Right.
But that would be a severe overreach of accessibility regulation. Remember, right. One of the most critical words in the ADA statute is reasonable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have to be reasonable. Okay, great. All right, that was a good question. It led us in a bunch of directions there. Let me ask for more.
So Dave, I had posted a question about the Zoom training, and I finished all 7 modules, but somehow—
Oh, yeah, the Canvas training.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Just want to make sure I'm okay.
Right. So the Canvas training, module 4.7, so that's way back to the earlier part, never graded.
Just a second, I'm getting a little crosstalk here. Let me mute everybody. Now unmute yourself if you would, Donna.
Okay, so I was saying 4.7, and it never got graded, and it's way back there. So if I were using the inbox to communicate with a teacher, would it be Trenton that I would communicate with?
I would just send to all instructors. I'm not quite sure why this is happening. I have that muted. Sorry about that.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Pauline.
Yeah.
It sounds like you have some speakers turned up too high, or maybe an extra set of another device in the meeting that is providing some feedback there. And I can't seem to mute it. I don't know what's happening there. That's a Zoom behavior I haven't seen before.
Okay. So I have a question.
Yes. Well, let me first, Donna, did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
You bet. Yes, Pauline.
Yeah, did you check my personal email, personal mail, personal room? Yeah.
A personal room. I tell you what, I did get the email, but I needed to reply to you on that. You sent me a screenshot with that link in it. And that is not very helpful because I can't copy and paste that join link into a web browser. Can you send me just the join link in an email? Copy and paste that into the email as text. Then I'll be able to check that for you.
Okay, so what part that you want me to paste on? Yeah, because I do have it in my canvas. I do have the personal.
Oh, good. Well, just send me the CRN for that course, the 5-digit course number.
Yeah.
And I could go in and look there. So if you'll just send me the CRN for that course.
Yeah, I did. I just send you. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see that in the email. I'll go back and look.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I send you right after.
Oh, okay. Right after the screenshot?
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry. I must have missed that. I will go look at that.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Okay. Anybody else?
I see it now.
I have some questions. Whoop. I do not know why that is happening. I have some other questions here. Oh, Pauline, I'm going to have to ask you to, would you mind leaving the meeting and then coming back in? There's something happening with your audio that is causing that echo, and it's making it difficult for everybody to hear. Would you mind dropping out and coming back in and seeing if we can get that, see if that will correct itself? Thanks.
Okay.
Okay. Here's a question from earlier on. I need to transfer a survey from one course shell into another. How do you do that? Righty. To copy from one thing from one course shell to another, you go to the settings link in the destination course, the course into which you wish to copy something. And my goodness, why is that happening? And go to import course content. And for content type, select copy a Canvas course. But we're not going to copy the whole course. We're going to copy just one or two things out of it. I have to tell Canvas where this stuff is. So I have to search for the source course, the course that currently contains whatever I want to copy. I just start typing the name of the course until this list that pops up narrows down to the point where I can find the course that I want to copy from. I'll do it from that one. Then if I only want one or two things to copy, I click Select Specific Content rather than copying everything, and then just click Import. I get a new job line here, a new copy job line, and I get a button that's labeled Select Content. I click on that, and I see all of the things that are in that course, from course settings to modules, assignments, announcements, and so on. a survey would be listed probably under quizzes, I think. So to find a particular quiz or survey, I would click this little right arrow next to quizzes, and that will expand the list of all the quizzes and surveys that I have in that course. Seminar evaluation is a survey, so I'd select that if that's the one I wanted to copy. And then I would click select content down here in the lower right, and that content will be copied, just that item. So that's how you copy one or a selected few items from one course to another, rather than copying all the content within a course from one to another. And let's see, there was another part to that question. When I include a URL from YouTube, including a picture of a video box, this is taking too much room. Can I just include a text link to a YouTube video in a Canvas page? Sure. Let's just make a page to show that here. I'll make a new page. And I have to, for a link, I have to have some sort of anchor. It's usually text or a picture. So I can just type anchor text like link to YouTube video. Then I can highlight that link or highlight that text. Now I have to have a YouTube share URL, a share link to put in here. So let me go back to YouTube and get this one, this Ray Charles one, and copy the YouTube address, the video address, to my clipboard. Go back to Canvas, and having highlighted this anchor text here, I just click on the link to URL button in the Canvas Rich Content Editor, and I paste that share link in there from the clipboard, and then click Insert Link. So now I have a link to my YouTube video. If I save that, oh, I got to enter a title for this page, or a name for this page. Sample video page. Save that. What you get is sort of a mixture. You get a link to the YouTube video that they can click on, or you get this little embed box. And if this is a YouTube video, I don't know of a way to stop Canvas from including this. I don't think you can delete that either, unfortunately. Nope. So that's about the best you can do for a YouTube video. If this video were stored somewhere other than YouTube, you could get just a simple hyperlink, text-based hyperlink like that. But this, if it's on YouTube, I don't know of a way to get rid of that. Okay. Good. Just looking through some questions in the chat tool, but please jump in with a question if you have one. What if I need students to post a picture to their discussion topic? They can do that. Let's just go to a discussion here. Pull one up. If a student is going to reply to your prompt up here, it's going to look exactly as it will if I do it. They can insert a picture by going to the Embed image tool. They have that just as well as you do. They'll go to Canvas, the Canvas tab, and their only option will be to put the picture in My Files. They can't put it in your course files, so they'll only have this folder to select from. So they click My Files, and then they click Upload File. Then they go to their hard drive. That brings up a file manager box. They go to their hard drive and find the picture that they are trying to upload into here. We'll just take Alfred there and click Open. It would be nice if they had alt text. That may be expecting a lot. And then they can just update. And there's the picture. And they can do that just as easily, or they have the same capability to do that as you do. And they can move the picture around, things like that. They can make it bigger and smaller by grabbing the handles at the corners and dragging them back and forth. So that's how a student could post an image into a discussion post. And then they just post reply, and there it is down at the bottom. All right. What's the difference between pinned discussions and unpinned discussions? That's just how they're displayed in the discussions tool. If you go into the discussions tool and see your list of discussions, a pinned discussion, you can pin any of your discussions to the top of the screen. It just pins it to the top of the screen so you can always find that one quickly. But it doesn't affect how it works or anything like that. And if you have a link to it in a module, this is a moot point. I mean, if you're not allowing the students to see the discussions tool, they'll never know the difference. Can you have separate discussions weekly, or do they get all mixed up? No, you definitely can have a weekly discussion, which would probably address different topics and so on. You can have as many discussions as you want, and they can be described in any way you like. They can be focused on anything you like. And no, they don't get mixed up. Really, they're totally separate from one another. May that confuse your students? Well, I don't know, maybe, I suppose, if you don't explain really well what you're doing. But I know lots of people who have a dozen or more discussion forums in their course for different discussions that they want to have with students. And I don't think that's a problem. All right, answered that one. Yeah. Okay, we answered that. Most of these we've taken care of. Yeah. Can the student turn off the discussion link? No, only you can affect what people can see in this course menu here. Only an instructor can, only the host. Yeah, only the teacher in the course can alter the course menu in any way. You do that by going to Settings and go to the Navigation tab at the top of the screen. Here's your course menu. You can change the order in which things appear, or if you don't want something to appear to students in your course menu, you can just click and drag it down below the line, and now students won't be able to see this. Yeah, Donna, in reference to your question about your 4.7 submission in the training course, Those submissions are graded, different submissions or different assignments are graded by different people, and they grade them in a variety of orders and so on. It's apparently the person who's grading assignment 4.7 has just not gotten to you yet. I'm sorry. They're doing a much better job of keeping up now that we have multiple people grading, and there are fewer people in the current training course than there were in last academic year's training course, but there's still almost 400 people in the new section. So there's still a lot of grading to do, and it's taking a little time. If I record a message to someone in Zoom and then attach the URL to an email, will they receive the video message? If you just provide the URL, yes. You can't embed a video in an email, but you can certainly send an email with a link in it to a video, and that will work fine. I do that every day, every day. Internet dropped me a couple of times. How would I access the recording for this meeting? Those recordings are, I usually do that by now, I'm sorry, are available on the web at sdccdolvid.org. That's our on-demand video site. It's linked into our online learning pathways page and so on, but the easiest way to get to it is just to type the link in. And in the top of the screen, there is a link for workshop archives. If you click on that, all of our Zoom recordings for these faculty training sessions will appear, and you can access them. It looks like I'm a little behind there. I need to get the rest of those in there, so sorry about that. I'll have everything up there. I've got that on my list for later today to get all the current recordings into here, but that's where you'll find them. Is it possible that if you are Zooming, you cannot do a live stream too? If you've got a Facebook account or a YouTube account that is enabled that's been verified, you can do live streaming of your Zoom sessions. All you have to do, now that does mean that you have to have a YouTube account, for instance, if you're going to use YouTube to stream. And that account has to be verified. That is, you have to have gone through the process to identify yourself as a human rather than a robot to Google in order to have access to that tool. But you don't have to pay for it or anything like that. And to start a live stream in a Zoom meeting, all you have to do is go to your Zoom host menus down at the bottom of the screen. You'd only have this capability if you were the host, of course. Go to the More link in your Zoom menus and select Stream Live on Facebook or YouTube. Or you can even use a custom live streaming service like Livestream or something like that. What's the other one? I can't think of it. But normally, why not just use YouTube? It's free and it works great. And that way you can reach people, any number of people anywhere in the world. They don't have to join your Zoom meeting. All they have to do is have the URL for the meeting, which you can post somewhere, and they can watch and listen. They can't talk back to you, but they can watch and listen. It's a broadcast option rather than an interactive option. But it works, and it should work, and it always does for me. Let's see, that was Richard. I don't see Richard here yet, but that answer to that's in the recording anyway. In Pronto, only people who are enrolled in your course will show up when you go in. You go into a particular course or into Pronto through a particular course, you only see people who are actually enrolled in that course. and I wouldn't be. I wonder about having a Zoom meeting with myself and recording it. That's definitely something you can do. That way you can use Zoom as a video production tool rather than a meeting tool. That works like a shot. And it's in some ways even better than using your phone. So yes, you can certainly do that, Carolee, and it works wonderfully. Do you think posting links to Zoom recordings for various self-made videos is tacky? No, 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 absolutely not. It's a great tool. It's a great capability to have. Absolutely. Do more. And of course, you can use Canvas Studio for that as well. But Zoom is a wonderful tool. And then you can load those Zoom recordings into Canvas Studio if you want to just have them organized where they're easier to use. Can students submit assignments, media, using Studio? Yes, students have access to Canvas Studio just as you do. And they can submit those videos through Studio to a Canvas assignment. And that's one of the things we'll show you how to do in the more extensive presentation on Studio that we're going to do next Thursday. Is Studio only to store videos? Yeah, videos. Or you can store audio files there as well, but not other stuff. Other stuff, documents, things like that, you'd store in your course, like PowerPoint presentations that were, just PowerPoint files and things like that would be stored in your Canvas course file manager. And I believe they're just about to up the amount of storage space you have in your Canvas courses to 2 gigabytes by default. That's under discussion at any rate. Is there a bandwidth limit with Canvas Studio? No. You can put as many videos on there as you want, so you can use as much of Canvas's or Instructure's bandwidth as you like. And as many of your students who wish can watch it as often as they like, and you will not run into any bandwidth limits. That's the answer today. Check with me as things evolve, but that's my understanding right now. Will Canvas Studio take the place of YouTube? It well could. YouTube will still have a few advantages, but Studio's simplicity and its integration with Canvas and so on, I'm thinking of moving a lot of my stuff onto Studio and just having it there. I use YouTube so much, it's not that big a deal for me, but definitely there will be things I'll put into Studio and use that way, because you can share those videos with people outside of Canvas as well. You get a share link for it, just like you do with YouTube, and you could share it with somebody in an email or something. So it's definitely going to cut down on your need to use YouTube, and it's simpler to use than YouTube. So it's going to open up possibilities for a lot of people who just haven't wanted to hassle with YouTube. I even know people who have a case of irritation with Google and don't want to use Google resources. Well, here's something that will do almost everything YouTube will do. It's free, and you're automatically enrolled in it by virtue of having a Canvas account. What's the advantage to students to having a Zoom meeting video embedded in like in a Canvas page versus clicking on a link to the recording in the Zoom cloud? Not much of an advantage. The embed is sexier looking. It's a little bit more engaging. It's a little bit more attractive. So it maybe slightly increases the chance that the student will actually click on it and view the video. But that's iffy. Either one works fine. The important part is creating the video and giving the students a way to get to it. Everything else is secondary. Richard, I still use Snagit and Camtasia for screenshots and captures. I noticed that you have an update waiting for your web browser. Yes, indeed. Yeah, and I still use, actually for screencasting, I've gotten to the point where I'm mainly using Snagit. Though at times I'll use TechSmith Capture, which is a stripped down free version of Snagit. It's the replacement for Jing. And I find it so quick and easy that sometimes I'll use it instead. Some very nice thank you notes there. Thank you for those. Can we record parts of your set? Oh, well, I already dealt with that. Right. Sorry. Already answered that. Bye, I have to get, here's the classic chat post right now. Bye, Dave, I have to go into my next Zoom meeting. I hear you. Good Lord. One bad thing about Zoom is that it removes almost all constraints on the number of meetings people can call. Because people don't have to travel and say, oh, of course you're always at beck and call, you know, we just have meetings all day. And there are people who are having Zoom meetings all day. And I tell you, about 3 or 4 hours is about my limit before I start having Zoomitis. As wonderful as it is, it's not something you want to have to do all day. And too many of us are having to do it all day. So I empathize, obviously. What do I do to send my navigation link to be regraded? For some reason, I'm not sending the correct link.
That's me, Dave.
Hey, Margaret, good.
Hi.
Can you amplify that, please?
Well, I submitted, I thought, the right URL, and then I got this notification that I did not, and that I needed to go into settings, navigation page, and then send that URL. I did that.
I don't know. Let me look at this. Which assignment is that?
It's 5.6.
Okay, let me pull that up here. I'm not gonna share your assignment with the world there. Let me stop my share and I'll look at it and then we'll see. Okay. And that was 5.6 you said?
5.6.
All right, I'm going to look at it. Takes a minute to get there because there's so many people in that course that it takes the grade book a while to come up to where I can search for you. Because I sure don't want to go through 300 people to find you.
No, right. I also have a second question to that, but that's a different.
I'll take that too. I'm not going anywhere until you give up.
Once
everybody gives up, I will too.
I do not give up.
Okay. Yeah, I see you got 3 out of 5 there on 5.6. Let me look and see why and see if I can figure out what's going on. It's loading, sorry. Okay. All right, I'm clicking on the link that you sent. Huh. I'm looking and I see your course menu and it looks fine. You have the right stuff selected. I can't see your navigation bar without it. I don't know. I see your navigation bar.
I don't know what happened.
Well, you sent the link for your. Do you mind if I share this?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Try to be sensitive about that. What I got taken to was your settings page.
And that's what Aline told me to do. She said to go into my settings.
Let's see. Oh, this is Carlos chimed in on this. You submitted the URL for the settings page. You have your home page to be the modules page. You should change that front page to a real home page. Well, that has nothing to do with this assignment.
Thank you.
And,
same thing. So I emailed him.
And they could get to your home page by just clicking home here. This is a live dip into your course. So I'm not quite sure what the objection is here. Just very quietly. Okay. We just won't say anything. All right.
Okay. 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 Thank you.
You got full credit for it. It looks fine. I would have given you full credit to start with. But different graders have different interpretations.
Right. He was looking at it in a different way than what the assignment said.
But the point here was to show, for you to show that you know how to trim down your course menu so that only the links that you are using show to your students. And they don't see links that they're not using that just confuse them. And you did that perfectly.
Okay, thank you. Now, my other question is 6.4. 6.4.
Let me drop back to and look at let me pull that one up. Goodness gracious, our attendee list is growing again. Most everybody had left. People are coming back in. If you are looking, I bet I know what's happening too. If you are looking for the Pronto session, this ain't it. Obviously, I proved earlier that I know just enough about Pronto to get into trouble. That session had a separate link in the email that Mary sent out, but she also kind of implied that that my link would get you there, and it won't. There's another link in that email. If you go back to that email and look, if you leave this meeting and go back to that email and click on the link to the Pronto meeting, you'll see that, because it is after 1 o'clock, and that's undoubtedly where some of you, where some of the new folks have come from.
Oh.
Sorry. All right. You all still have questions. I'm not going anywhere. All right. Now 6.4, was it?
Correct.
That's amazing that I remembered that. This stage of the game. Create a content page. Okay. And you have a 0.
Yeah.
See if I can figure out why. All right. It's loading, sorry. All right, I'm clicking on the link. Yes, they're correct. That link that you submitted is a link to a Canvas assignment, not a page.
Okay. Now, she gave me, Cara was the one who graded this, and she gave me a step-by-step thing. But what I think my main question, I just got back from visiting with my grandkids, so I'm trying to catch up on everything.
Right.
So, do I have to recreate it, or can I just cut and paste or drag what I put in the wrong page? Can I put that in the new
Yeah, you can just go to, I presume your content page is in your module.
Correct.
That you've created. And let's see, should be read. Any one of these. Like the summary page would be fine. That's a, oh, that's an assignment. Never mind. I'm looking for, that's an assignment. I'm looking for a page that you have created. Ah, you don't have any pages. These are all homework assignments.
Okay. In my modules?
Yeah, in your, oh yeah, this is your development shell, your practice shell. This is where you should do, but I'm not sure you have any pages. You don't have any linked into your module. So let's look at the pages tool and see if you have any pages.
What does the page icon look like?
It looks like a little document, like a little rectangle with little squiggles on it.
Okay.
And you do have one page in there, your bio page. And that's a content page. If I pull it up, they're probably looking for a little more than that in a page. But that's the only page in your course. So the problem here seems to be conflating content pages with assignments. While you can create what looks like a page in an assignment, it would be extremely confusing. You don't want to do that because the assignment implies that the student needs to turn something in. So like when you have this read thing here, that implies a page. And this is in fact an assignment. So you want to go to your module and create
my practice one.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
This is in your practice course.
Okay.
Go to your module, click on the Add Item to Module button, and select Page, not Assignment. Assignment, what may have happened here is the assignment is the first thing that comes up in the list, in this menu list. So it's easy to make assignments when you don't mean to. You want a page.
I go into my module.
Right. Here we are in your practice course.
Okay.
And we go to your module 1 here that you've been using as to satisfy this the assignments in the training course.
Okay.
And you click on at the top of the module, you click on the Add Item to Module button, the little plus sign.
Up at the top on the right-hand side?
Right.
Okay.
And am I not sharing this? Oh, I'm not. Darn it. I'm sorry. I was under the mistaken impression I was actually sharing that with you. Let me take care of that. Bad. Okay, now let's bring that back up. I apologize. I was not doing what I thought I was doing. Here we are. Okay. Wrong. Wrong one. Just a second. Where is that? What did I do with it? There it is. Okay. Apologies. So start over again. Here I am in your training, in your practice course, in your modules. Here's your module, your module you've been working on. Click on the Add Item to Module button. And instead of selecting assignment, select page.
Oh.
This is how you create a content page, which is what they're asking for in this assignment.
Okay.
Call it a new page, click New Page to make a new page, and call it, I'll delete this when I'm done and you can redo this. You'd name it something that was consistent with what you were doing in that module there. Something that you, like your summary would be a perfectly reasonable content page.
Okay.
But right now it's an assignment. So
Okay.
I hit a new page shows up in your module, but it's empty right now. So you click on that page and you edit it. You click on the name of the page, then you edit it to the edit button. And now you can add stuff to it. This. Type it. And add images. And all the stuff you can do with your rich content editor. I can add an image here from Canvas. From, let me just put it into course files. I'll upload an image file. Let me find something innocuous here. Update. I can, but you don't have to do all this. But you know, you just create a content page with some content in it. I forget they had some requirements on what at minimum. I think at minimum you have to put a link into this.
Okay.
Add links to course content. So you could add a link to your modules or to your syllabus, say, if you use the syllabus tool.
Okay.
By going to the links tab over here on the left or right. That's the right. And we can go to course navigation and add a link to the syllabus.
Okay.
That was a requirement. I don't remember what the others might be. I think you just had to type something and add a link.
Yeah, and I think I added a video.
Oh, that's great. That'd be even better. And then just save the content page. That saved the link to it in the module and the content page at the same time. But now, in order to satisfy this assignment, you want this link.
Okay.
This URL at the top for your
and
page.
And then it takes directly to the page.
Right.
Okay.
And so you just copy that. Then you go back to the speed grader. I'm sorry, back to the assignment, to the 6.4 assignment, and submit that link again, just as you did the first.
Okay. Thank you.
That makes sense?
That makes sense.
Excellent.
Thank you.
You bet. Let's see, I got another, going back to the chat tool. Are your recorded videos reviewable by the public? You bet they are. Anybody who has this workshop link, and this can be, or this open on demand sdccdolvid.org link can view these, and this has been posted all over the internet. Indeed, every time I send an email, the link to this is in my email signature, at the bottom of my email signature. So anybody can view this. It's completely public and intended to be. And that seems to be the end of that. Let me kill my share and see who's still with me. We still got a few folks. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to ask? Not hearing any others, I'm going to wish you a wonderful afternoon. Hope it's not raining there. It seems to be it started raining here. Poor birds out there getting rained on. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and I hope I'll see you in another meeting soon.
Thank you, Dave. That was awesome.
Oh, thank you for coming.
Hi, Dave. It's Dawn.
Hey, Dawn.
I think I might be in the wrong place.
You're looking for Pronto?
I'm looking for Pronto, yeah.
Yeah. Mary sent that, the first message that Mary sent out didn't clearly indicate the right link for Pronto.
Oh.
I'm not doing Pronto because I'm still learning Pronto myself.
Oh,
I
okay.
covered
Well, I
a
guess
little bit of it today, but let me see if I can find that for you. I can put it in the chat.
Oh, I guess, did she send a follow-up? Maybe I just went to the
Well,
wrong.
she had the right link in that email, but it was
Oh, I see
not
it.
obvious.
My bad.
Do you
My
see
bad.
it?
Oh, I see it. Thank you. Nice to
Oh, no,
see
you're
you.
not the only one to have that question today.
Okay.
I knew that would happen. Sorry to be so slow in getting you that information. Take
No
care.
problem. I was just
Enjoy
listening.
Pronto.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.